How do you learn? How do you learn? How do you learn from a video? Tip number 1, slow it down. Tip number 2, say it out loud. Read it out loud. Tip number 3, listen and repeat out loud. Number 4, set your trap. Get ready for the hunt. How do you learn? How do you learn? How do you learn from a crash course video? How do you learn from any video? I'm going to give you some tips, 4 tips, but really it all comes down to one thing. How do you hunt? How do you set the trap? First of all, when it's time for class to start, be ready for class to start. Google Classroom is there for you through the stream. You'll get up-to-date new information. Classwork view, open the 4th 6 weeks. If you're on the 4th 6 weeks, class discussion sheet like this. Then, if you can't connect with us on the Zoom, call me. You know my number. And record your name, leave a message. Okay, back to here. We answer questions in this column right here on our row. I have your names covered up so that they don't go on YouTube. And then we have our learning intention, which is our subject that we're learning or the skill that we're learning or both. And then we have the communication forms. So how are we practicing this skill? How are we interacting with the subject through language? The verbs are what's key here. Read, listen, write, verbs like that. This column is important because it's really why, as in order to. What's the goal here? Well, there are requirements to success. And then here's the specific product that you're going to turn in. So I'll give you a clue here, 3.3, but you should look back at Google Classroom and find that and identify the title of it. Orient yourself there. Then you're ready for class. And then at the end of the class, in this blue column, you'll type, what did you specifically do to be successful? Here's our assignment. I told you we're going to apply this question. How do you learn from a crash course video, or any video really? Pause it. As I'm playing it, definition of tissues. Is this where they are? There it is. Definition of tissues. So I pause it there. Now, crash course videos specifically, if they have writing on the screen, it's a good idea to pause it there and go back and see, like, oh, is Mr. Whaley asking us to learn that? This is tip number 2. Read out loud more than once. Define the term tissue in terms of anatomy and physiology, and provide an example. So I got out of the video a definition when I paused it, and later in the video I recognized actually 4 examples. Tip number 3, listen. When you're hunting, listen. When you're hunting information, you're not always just silent. You silently listen, and then you pause it and you say the sentence back. You say those words because you got to practice them. You're learning how to speak. You say those words. You're hunting for language all the time. Organize as you go. You pre-organize in a form. You fill the first column, for example. So as I watch the video, I pause it when it gives me the type of tissue. The name and specific purpose is right here. Oh, there's writing on the screen. Maybe I should pause it and go see if that's something. Yep, type of tissue, name and specific purpose. Yep, that one's on there. So that one's down here. Or I put that one down at the bottom. Nervous tissue, control and communication. There you go. You get all the names and purposes for this first column, and you can get it done out of that crash course video. You have set the trap in this column to catch all of that you're hunting for from the video. And the next thing you'll do is describe the structures of each subtype. They will be different. Simple stratified, pseudostratified has to do with the layering of epithelial tissue. Shapes, there will be 3 different types of shapes of those cells. But you'll have different categories of structure and function for connective tissue and for muscle tissue and for nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is actually the simplest. You'll have 2 categories of nervous tissue or subtypes, and muscle tissue you will have 3 subtypes. Connective tissue you will have multiple types, just as we had multiple types for epithelial structures. But look, we've set the trap for it, and you do your best to catch, to hunt down the structures and the functions, and then in the end, hunt for a labeled depiction that represents each subtype. So, there you have it. To sum up, how do you learn from a video? Hunt it down, but first, set the trap, slowing things down, reading things out loud, listening and repeating, and of course, row by row, row by row, row by row. Thanks for paying attention. Stay safe and make it whale money. How to learn from a video. How to learn from a video.